Hello and welcome to the Interchange Book 3, Unit 2 video for gerund phrases. Today we're going to be talking about gerund phrases and how we use them for giving opinions often. So, to start, I would like to ask you your opinion about this. So, what's your opinion about this job? An astronaut. What things would you like? Or what things would you not like? So I'm sure you have many ideas about this, many opinions about this particular job, but I'd like to ask your opinion about something else, and we will come back to this in a moment. For example, what is your opinion about these activities? For example, dancing, shopping, swimming. Which are fun? Which of these activities are fun for you? Or which don't you like? So, I want to talk about something that I like. For example, I like music. I like music. Very basic sentence, right? But let's look at it closer. If I look at this, here I have I, and in this sentence, I is my subject, and I like music. I like music. Music in this context is a noun. It is a thing. It is something. And I like it. I like it, and it is the object of the sentence. So I like music. Music is the object. Okay? But I also like, for example, dancing. Dancing. So if you notice, dancing is a verb, but it's a gerund, what we call a gerund. And just like how I say I like music, and music is a noun, okay, I can use this very similarly, and I can say, well, I like dancing. And in this context, dancing as a gerund is a noun, and it's the object of my sentence. I like dancing. So, basically, gerunds are often used like nouns. So, a gerund, for example, dancing, is basically, it's an idea. It's the idea of the action. And like we know, an idea is a noun. So basically, a gerund is the same thing as a noun. And that's the big idea that we need to understand today, that gerunds often act like a noun in our sentences. So, if I say, I like dancing and music, both dancing and music are both nouns. Or if I say, I like shopping and clothes, just like clothes is a noun, shopping also is a noun. Or I like swimming and exercise. Again, exercise is a noun, and so is swimming. So we're using our gerunds just like we are our nouns, because gerunds act like nouns. So let's look at another sentence. For example, music. Music is really fun. So, again, if I look at this, I think to myself, well, what is music in this sentence? Music is acting as my subject, okay? It's the subject of my sentence, right? Music is really fun. Music is my subject. Now, just like I used music as a noun before and dancing as a noun, again, I can use dancing in the same way. So I can use dancing as my subject because dancing is a noun. So it's the idea. Dancing is really fun. So I can use dancing as an object, or in this case, I can use it as my subject of a sentence. So let's look at some more examples where I use the gerund as the subject of a sentence. For example, dancing is fun. Again, dancing is acting like a noun and the subject of the sentence. Here we have shopping is great. Again, shopping is the subject of the sentence. Or here, swimming is very healthy. Again, swimming is the subject of the sentence because my gerund is acting like the noun. So, basically, we can use our gerunds both as the object of the sentence or as the subject of a sentence. Okay? Now, we often do this with our gerunds to express an opinion. When we use a gerund like a noun, we almost always are expressing our opinion about that idea, about that particular idea using the gerunds. So again, here we come back to our original question. So what's your opinion about this job? So previously I asked you, for example, what things would you like? What things would you like about this particular job? Well, for me, personally, one thing that I think I would really like is floating in space. I think that would be pretty great. Floating in space, right? Now, I can talk about my opinion of floating in space in different ways, okay? So, I can first use this as the subject of my sentence, and I can say, for example, floating in space would be cool. Or, for example, floating in space seems like fun. Or floating in space could be awesome. Okay? And remember, in this context, this is the subject of my sentence. It's the first thing in the sentence. Floating in space would be cool. That's the subject, right? But we said that we could use gerunds, just like floating, right? Or floating in space as a gerund phrase. We could use it as the subject, or we can use it as the object of a sentence. So, for example, well, I think that it would be awesome floating in space. Or, I would really like floating in space. Or, I would love floating in space. Okay? Now, again, my gerund phrase, floating in space, in this context, is the object of the sentence, right? So that whole idea of floating in space is now the object of my sentence. Okay. So now we see that gerunds, right? Or in this context, gerund phrases like floating in space can be used as the subject of a sentence, right? Or my gerund phrase, floating in space, can be used as the object in the sentence. Because, as we said, floating in the idea of a gerund is essentially a noun. And nouns can be subjects, and nouns can be objects. So, thank you for listening. I hope this helps you to understand how we use gerunds in a sentence in the same way that we use nouns as subjects and objects of our sentences. Thanks for watching, and good luck.